Hey guys, Brett here, connecting from UbiCentral, and yesterday was an amazing day for Assassin's Creed fans. In case you somehow missed it, Ubisoft released a new trailer for Assassin's Creed Unity. Sadly, it didn't show any new gameplay, but what it did give us is some new information about the game. Now, before we get into all this news, I want to give a huge thanks to my good friend Chris over at Halo Follower. He mentioned me in his newest video, and it really meant a lot that he did that, so if any of you guys are interested in Halo news, I definitely recommend checking out his content. A link will be in the description below. So before the new trailer was released, Ubisoft actually released some new screenshots of Assassin's Creed Unity. Some of these are concept art and some are actual gameplay. So starting with this first image, we have Arno jumping off a building, and it looks like he's about to assassinate this guy with his hidden blade. So it looks like we'll now be able to assassinate people that are inside buildings as long as they're nearby a window or looking outside the window. Anyways, this is an awesome feature and I cannot wait to do this myself. Moving on, we have Arno using this new weapon. Sadly, we don't know the name of it, but just look at it. This thing looks amazing, and also look at these guys' faces. Arno is about to kill them, and the last face they make before they die is this. But continuing on, we have an image showing off Arno's parkour skills, and one thing that really caught my attention is the actual design of the buildings. For example, in previous Assassin's Creed games, they all kind of felt the same, but in AC Unity, it has a different feel to it, and a lot of these buildings are connected. Also, towards the end of the picture, we can see Arno going inside a building, and it looks like there might be some stairs. So I'm thinking the feature from Assassin's Creed 4 where you can enter buildings and run up the stairs and jump out might return. Either way, there's going to be a ton of buildings you can enter in Assassin's Creed Unity, and seriously, I know I've said this before, but I cannot wait. Next up, we have Arno using his Phantom Blade, but honestly, it wasn't the smartest move to shoot the guy in the middle because right above that enemy is his friend. Either way though, that guy will not be waking up the next morning. But all jokes aside, a really cool thing we can see in this screenshot is some variety in enemy weapons. They're all holding a different weapon. We have an axe on the left, a sword in the middle, and a gun on the right. I know this is just concept art, but hopefully this will be in the final game. On to the fifth picture, we can see an assassin doing a leap of faith. I don't think this is Arno, however, because the color of his outfit. But maybe he dyed the color, but to be honest, I really don't think it's him. And way off in the distance, it's really hard to make out, but you can kind of see a blimp. Although the chances of that are really small because they weren't around back then, but it would be really cool to see. And another thing to notice in this picture is there's an actual storm going on, and I believe the only other AC game where it stormed was Assassin's Creed 4, and that's only when you were actually out in the water on your boat. We have seen it rain before as well, but not an actual storm on land. And on to the last picture, we have kind of a wilderness setting, and we can see an assassin using that weapon again from a couple screenshots back. What's really cool is he's holding it with one hand, and that other screenshot as well, we saw Arno holding it with one hand. Now, I know both of them were concept art, but how awesome would that be if this was a one-handed weapon? And now that we got all those screenshots out of the way, let's talk about the trailer released yesterday. So to start the trailer, we see the guillotine, and we've seen this in pretty much every trailer, but it's to show the impact these things had during the French Revolution. People were murdered in front of everyone with these things, and I'm sure it'll be playing a huge part in AC Unity. Speaking of huge roles in this game, we see Arno take out his pocket watch. Now, this is just a theory on my part, but I believe this to be one of Arno's father's watches. For those who don't know, his real father was murdered when Arno was only 8 years old, and he was later adopted, and then his adopted father died in a mysterious way as well. Now, I personally think it would make more sense to be his biological father's watch because he really doesn't remember him that well, and this is something to remember him by. And also, you can see a crack in it, so maybe, just maybe, this was the last thing his father was holding before he died. And a little further into the trailer, there's some French soldiers throwing a dead body away basically. And another thing to notice is there's no head attached to this guy's body, and that's because of the guillotine we were talking about earlier. And moving on, we see Arno doing some parkour, obviously a huge part of the franchise, and then you can see he actually slides under some items in his way. We haven't seen actual gameplay to confirm this, but it would be a nice improvement to the game in my opinion, and it would be something new and fresh, so hopefully that's in the final game when it's released. And here we can see some civilians shooting at guards, and this, however, is confirmed. You're not going to be the only one fighting the soldiers in this game. For the first time ever, civilians will actually fight in game as well, and that's one of the many reasons this game is called Assassin's Creed Unity. Now, I'm going to skip ahead a little further into this trailer because this part is mainly just parkour, but one thing to mention though, the buildings are all designed at a 1:1 scale in AC Unity. And right here you can see thousands of civilians watching this execution about to happen, and Ubisoft has also confirmed there can be up to 5,000 NPCs on screen at once. Now with that many civilians, you can't just walk up to these execution stands. He has to literally go past hundreds of people just to get there. And on the way there, there's some guards, but they don't even leave a scratch on Arno. And then you can see probably the smartest guy ever in Assassin's Creed. The guard is literally like, I'm out of here, and he just runs away. Then who I presume to be the main guard of this execution gets taken out by Arno using the hidden blade. And then Arno saves this girl's life, but this isn't just any girl. It's Elise, Arno's love interest, and yes, she's a Templar. So obviously she's going to be playing a huge role in Assassin's Creed Unity, and there's even a book coming out dedicated to her and her story. There's so many possibilities that can end up happening with her, and I'm curious what you guys have to say. So if you have any theories, please leave them in the comments down below, and as always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you all later.